This podcast is intended for educational purposes only. Please check out Natural Care Midwifery, our podcast page, for our full disclaimer. Well, welcome back to More About Birth. We have a special episode today. We got some behind the scenes stuff today. I'm here with our hosts, Shannon Bennett and Angie Hansen. So tell us what's up, ladies.
So Angie and I have been cooking up this idea about how much fun it would be to let you guys in on the behind the scenes stuff. As far as, a birth, taking off for the birth, all the fun things that we do.
Is this the in the car footage?
Yeah. This is the in the car footage.
This is the when you let me hide in the back seat of the camera?
Yeah, so we're in the front seat talking about what we normally talk about on the way to birth, and Keith is hiding in the back seat. We're supposed to be acting natural, like,
It's hard.
Not this man hiding in the back seat of the car.
It's hard to see on a podcast.
It is hard to see on a podcast, which is why we wanted to remind everybody, if you're listening on the podcast and that's normally how you take it in, we really encourage you to check this one out on the YouTube channel and any other ones that we have guests on, especially because there's a lot of stuff that's being demoed and it's very visual. So, you can still listen to this on the podcast, but we definitely recommend check out the YouTube channel.
Idea.
Yep.
Plus, they get to see the baby.
Yeah, that's the best part, right?
Don't miss the podcast on YouTube this time.
Yeah.
Or you won't get to see the baby.
Yay. Come along with us and we're going to go to Devin's birth.
Now you can smile at the camera. Cheers, Eric.
Or what Emily said.
I need it.
You got here in record time.
I did, and I'm not wearing any makeup, so,
There's the neighbor out sweeping his driveway. Holy cow, it's hot in here.
It is.
I'm just going to turn that off altogether. And you probably, is your butt warmer on?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. So I brought that chart.
In a quarter mile, turn left.
I wanted you to look at. I went online and there was this great article about peanut balls and how they're incorporating them into hospitals now.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of a chart of what to do with the different sizes. And there were a couple of positions that I'm not even familiar with. So I ordered the laminated chart and thought maybe we could try out a few.
Look at this. Peanut balls lower cesarean
I
rates.
know. Check out the gal with a support rope that's using it kind of to sit on like a horse.
Turn left.
Oh, yeah.
Then turn left.
That's a giant one.
I know. We need to get a bigger one. The little one works good for some of the things we do, but I think I need to order the next size bigger.
One more thing to carry
I
around.
know. Seriously. I'm going to have to get a
Turn
bigger
left.
car just for all the junk. But you know what? Every time I leave something in the car, it ends up being the one thing that we need that time.
Oh, I know.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto North Dallas Road.
I know.
Like cowgirl. Looks like some crazy yoga pose.
Like the pretzel mama. I don't know what that one's for, but that's what I was telling you about, the different positions for opening the inlet versus the outlet.
Yeah.
Looks
That's
really good.
interesting.
I know, and it makes perfect sense. They actually showed on a video, they put like little dots on the sacrum area of a mama, more toward the crests, but then they had
Turn left onto North Dallas
do
Road.
these different positions, and you could actually see the dots moving apart or coming closer together,
Oh,
depending
no
on which
way.
position.
That's cool.
I know, we should try it.
The gas station's open.
It's open.
I'm so
They
excited.
have coffee.
And they have gas.
Seriously.
In the middle of the night.
I filled up on the way home, and oh my gosh, it was so foggy yesterday when I went back to do that 24-hour postpartum visit.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
worse than it was when we went,
No
and it was
way.
daytime.
Oh.
There was a big old bad wreck on the bridge
Oh, no.
that I had just missed the cleanup of. I know, I was so stressed by the time I got home. I was thinking, oh, I don't have to go out in the middle of the night in this fog again.
Turn right to merge onto I-82 west towards Yakima.
Okay. So did you have to wake Johnny up?
Yeah, but I think he's just gonna put a movie on for the kids and keep sleeping. And
Poor
then,
Johnny.
I know, I feel so bad. He just worked this like 12-hour shift.
Oh. Is your
Yeah,
mom coming?
she is gonna come. Yeah, she wasn't home, so she had to get home first and pack, but she is gonna come.
Caramel apple tea, no coffee.
So we ran out of half and half at my house.
That can't happen.
No, so you can literally see the fat oils floating in this because I kid you
1.1
not.
miles. Take
What'd you
exit
put in
102
it?
onto
Pure
I-182
heavy cream.
Stand US 12 east toward Richland.
Really?
Calorie up, you know?
I just was listening to the Trim Healthy Mama podcast yesterday about their trip down under. And Serena's going on and on about how there's Kerrygold grade fats and butters and dairy products.
Oh, I love Kerrygold.
Yeah, she's like, they had all this really yellow, thick, nice cream on the tables. And she goes, I threw my junk I brought with me from home away and started using it. She goes, and I even saved what was left over and fed it to my toddler to fatten her up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes when that stuff is yellow, it grosses
Use the
me
right
out.
lane to take exit 102 onto
It's
I-182
like
Stand US
colostrum.
12 east toward Richland.
I love that rich color of the Kerrygold products, the butter. It's like so. It looks
You know
so
what? It
amazing.
tastes a little bit different, and I'm really picky about taste. It's like ground beef. I can't try different brands of ground beef even. I
Take
just
the
stick to the
exit.
same one because I'm just used to the taste, and if it tastes different, it tastes bad.
Yeah.
So I can't believe this, Mom. Seriously. She goes, yeah, I had some contractions last night. They were not really regular, but just kind of constantly firm with a little, she called it a boop every once in a while.
Oh, what?
A boop.
Oh, yes,
And so-
I know that one.
She said, I was going to call you, but then they just stopped. I'm like, okay, so decided to go ahead and check and see what was going on and about drop my teeth. She's already 6 centimeters, and she goes, yeah, I guess I'm having a little bit of
In 8.6 miles.
contractions."
Take exit
So,
9 onto Road 68.
okay. I said, go home and fill the birth pool up. She goes, well, I gotta stop at Costco first and get something for dinner. I'm like, okay. So she calls me right after she gets out of Costco, and she's like, well, I barely made it out of Costco. They're really coming regular now, so I'm gonna go home and we're gonna fill up the birth pool.
How's Eric feeling?
Good.
Is he
feeling
feeling better? Good.
Yeah.
I might drink this whole bottle of Adrenalite.
No, you're on point for this one.
I am.
You am. You did such a good job last time.
I mean,
In fact, I came home and told Keith how great of a job you did. He goes, that must feel really good. Just to know that you're at that point.
I was so stoked. I couldn't sleep when I went home.
Are you kidding?
No, I went there. I mean, part of it was the coffee, but I went and sat on my couch from like 1 to 3 a.m. and I was just elated. And I slept about 3 hours and woke up early for church, which I never do. I'm usually late. And I was still just on that
She's
high
like,
of
"I
the birth.
did
No, it was. I even went around telling people. They probably thought I was nuts. Mostly only my friends I told, but
I hope so.
I was like, I felt the cervix. I measured it. I did it right.
You're so funny.
Johnny, oh, this was so funny. You're gonna
What?
laugh. I told him about how we went back out to the car
Yeah.
and started high-fiving and giving hugs. He goes, he busted up
You guys
laughing.
are
He
so
goes,
weird.
that's like a midwife touchdown.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, yeah, it is. And then later he goes, oh, it really is a touchdown.
It is.
No pun
Har,
intended.
har, har. Oh, jeez. I remember the first time I was with my mentor, and I wasn't ready to start catching babies yet. I was still just basically assisting. It was early on, and her hands were all tied up doing something, and all of a sudden this baby's coming. It was like baby number 6, 7, or 8.
Uh-huh.
And she goes, you're gonna have to catch. And I'm like, I'm gonna what? She goes, you can do it. Just help the baby out. She's like, unwind the cord. I got all done and the adrenaline pumped. I remember on the way home, I'm like, I delivered a baby.
Yeah.
I delivered a baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing like the first time. So that was the beginning for me. How many babies have you caught now?
I don't know. I need to go back and look.
Gotta be close to what, 10, 15?
Yeah. Probably
Yeah.
between there.
Yep. Okay, this thing has a steering wheel warmer. That's kind of cool.
Well, that's weird.
She'll appreciate
Never even heard of that.
that when I feel her belly. Left, right.
Right.
And this looks like over where
Immediate
Shauna
left.
lives.
Shauna, the assistant.
Yeah. Shauna the Pitocin thing. I know every time I think of that, I laugh.
Oh wait, I have a uterus.
Pink, is that, what's that? No, it's going down, isn't it?
Yeah, it says we passed it.
Oh, man. See? Get excited and just blow on through. When babies come late like this, it's almost like I get as excited as they do when labor starts.
Yeah, I know.
I could go to bed every night going, oh, maybe tonight.
This one was a lot later than I expected.
Yeah, and when she had her BPP, she's like, well, I don't think the baby's really due till Christmas Eve. I'm like, oh no.
What? That's not right.
I don't see the number. There it is.
Oh yeah.
It's a good thing we're getting out of here. All this talk is fogging up the windows. You want to grab the chart?
Yep. Do you want me to bring in this peanut ball thing?
Yeah, why not? Do you have a key?
Do I have the key?
Yes.
Must. You drove here.
I know, but
I
it's
put
not
it
in
in
my
the-
pocket, so I'm assuming it's in there. Camera?
Yep.
Mission accomplished. What's that? Got it. This was kind of an exciting birth too, because you got to play the primary midwife for Devin and
Yeah.
at her birth.
Yeah. So as a student, that's really exciting. It's really, really fun to
Kind of
be.
like the frosting on the cake when you get to start catching the babies.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's really fun. So it was really easy one to do, which is great when you're stepping into that new role.
Yeah, I think she cheated.
I did.
This
Yes.
one was just far too simple.
Devin and I worked that out ahead of time, actually.
Great. You want to work it out for every birth?
Wasn't it just a few podcasts ago when you said that you felt like you were faking it? You hadn't been to any births?
Right.
Yeah. It was shortly after that you got to go do the whole thing.
Yeah, and there were just some good highlights there. I got to do some successful exams and just
She's a boss.
I will say this: I got the chance to see both of you in the behind-the-scenes footage. Got to be in the back seat, and you could just see you're both game on when you go to births. That's cool to
We're
watch.
excited. It's almost like when a woman's in labor and she's like, yes, the baby's coming.
Yeah.
The midwives are like, yes, the baby's coming.
right. Yeah, so it was really great, successful experience as a student, and it was fun.
Well, there you have it. Angie's great success story here at More About Birth. And we have more with the North family right after this break, so don't miss it. This podcast is intended for educational purposes only. Please check out Natural Care Midwifery, our podcast page, for our full disclaimer. This podcast is intended for educational purposes only. Please check out Natural Care Midwifery, our podcast page, for our full disclaimer. Well, welcome back to More About Birth Part 2. We are telling the North birth story. And back to you, Angie.
So Devin and Eric had a beautiful home birth.
Beautiful.
They did.
It was gorgeous. And we're going to let you peek in a little bit on the last 8-week postpartum visit that we did with them. And they're going to tell us a little bit about the birth from their perspective. So we're going to sneak upstairs and go do that visit.
Hey, come on in.
Ignored Keith the whole way. I was like, we're not gonna look at you, Keith. We're gonna keep going.
Hey,
How are you?
come on in. Oh my gosh, she's gotten so big. Go ahead and come on up. I know, her hair wasn't that dark.
And she's kind of. I think it might be getting a little lighter.
Oh, look at you. She looks like Bria though.
She does. She for sure does. Yeah.
You're looking good.
Yeah, you look good.
Man.
Breastfeeding, you know.
Are you
I know.
feeding yourself?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, come shimmy.
Oh, hi.
Look at you. Look how cute you are. That's why.
Yeah, my hands are cold too.
We moved it so we could get some footage.
Lay your bones, huh? Lay your bones.
So the winner is 16 pounds at 8 weeks. What do you think?
Oh, I don't think she's that. I got on the scale and then held her and weighed myself to see what the difference was.
13, 4.5.
That was actually pretty much what it was.
Serious.
Good job. Hey, girly.
Can we measure you and see how big you are?
Are you gonna smile? Oh, you did. You smiled for me. Are you a big smiler? Yeah.
So fun.
Look at all your little smiles. All right, let's see how big are you. She's like, what are you guys doing to me? Ooh, you're kind of dry down there on your leggings. 23 inches.
Chunky baby.
Ooh, is that cold?
I like the rolls on the ankles.
She's smiling. How come you think it's funny? So how's she been doing?
She's doing good.
Eating every 2.5 hours, normal wet and dirty diapers.
Yep, plenty of those.
And I don't have to ask if she's alert because look at that.
Mm-hmm.
She's like looking all over. Marin. And you track really well too. And you have smiles. What's going on here? Her belly button's looking great and all healed. She doesn't seem to have any rashes or anything. Her legs are a little bit dry. Is that new?
No. She always has dry skin, but we're working on it.
Will you introduce these folks and I'll ask the questions.
All right, this is Eric and Devin North. They had a home birth recently, and this is a little Marin who's smiling and looking at everybody. So we wanted to have them come today and just share with us a little bit about their experience and how they feel about it. So I think Angie has a few questions for them.
Yeah, can you guys just tell us what drew you to home birth in the first place and why did you decide to do this crazy thing twice?
Yeah, so Marin was our second home birth. Why we decided to do it, I had my sister, one of her good friends, had a home birth. And when she was telling me about it, the midwife wasn't able to make it there. Like, she had the baby so fast. Baby was born in a kiddie pool in her living room, and her husband delivered the baby. And
Without
that was
the
like,
midwife.
yes, just in their living room in a kiddie pool. And I remember that was the first exposure that I had to a home birth and a midwife. And I remember thinking to myself, wait, there was no
They're all nuts.
take the baby, do all these medical things, check all these things, and baby's taken away, and all this stuff. I remember being like, it's that easy. There's not much more that needs to be done. It's okay to
That
not.
explains why she has babies so easy, right? She just knew it was supposed to be.
That's how it's supposed to be. So I thought it was really cool that you could do that it doesn't need to be this hectic, whatever craziness. She was just laying there and waited for the midwife to get there, and everything just continued on. So I was like, that'd be kind of nice to do instead of all this hustle and bustle of hurrying to the hospital and all this stress and all that.
Yeah.
It seemed like, yeah, why wouldn't you do that? So that was what got me first interested in it. And
Did you have to talk Eric into it?
no, he was kind of up for whatever I was up for.
Just along for the ride.
Yeah.
It's like, all right,
Which
whatever.
is what most dads say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
she wants.
Yeah. And he's been a trooper the whole way through too. So it was nice to have his support for sure. But
Awesome.
Awesome. So it must have gone well because you decided to do it again.
yes, so yeah, Marin is number 2. Our first daughter was Bria. She was born at home as well. And the first time it was just so peaceful and so not what I pictured a birth would be like. I only ever see a birth in a hospital on TV and on movies and stuff, and it's always this hectic. Water breaks, you rush to the hospital, and everything is just crazy. And that's really,
right.
I've never witnessed a birth myself. So that was the only ever like mental image that I had of a birth too. So when it goes as well as it did, why would you ever do anything different?
Right.
Why
Great.
fix something that's not broken? So
Yeah.
What about from your perspective, Eric? Are you feeling like you're glad you made that choice now?
Yeah, it was nice, like during the birth process, to be able to have a conversation with the both of you during it, where I don't know that necessarily would happen in a hospital.
Yeah.
Did you feel safe at home?
Yeah, that's the nice part about it, is you are home. You're just in your natural environment.
Right.
So you do what you do normally, but that's just happening in the midst of it.
really, you guys bring the hospital to us because
Yeah.
you see all the medical gear anywhere. Like it'd be different if you showed up with like a knapsack and it was just like this, it was
Billy
like,
Midwife.
yeah. But no, there's everything. There's oxygen. There's IV stuff. Like there's so much stuff there that it's like,
Right.
well, they just brought it to us. That's all it is. Like,
And we hardly
Yeah.
ever use it, but it's there if we need it.
right,
Right.
totally. So
Yeah.
that I'm sure that helps with the safety feeling as well
Yeah.
too. You're not like, oh, they're not prepared for the worst or anything. It's just
Yeah.
totally.
It's fun.
Huh. So, what about like the personal side of it? So, you liked your home birth, and what about the care, the prenatal care, your relationship with your midwife, and what that was like for both of you?
Yeah, the personal care of a home birth really starts at the very beginning, I feel like. Like, I mean, you meet with, in my case, I met with Shannon, and, you meet in Shannon's home. It doesn't get much more personal than that to start off.
True.
But, I mean, she's welcomed into my life, and I'm, and welcomed into her life. It's a personal
I
connection
never thought of
between...
it that way.
I like
Yeah.
that. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's the connection that Shannon and I can have, and we meet monthly for several months, obviously on end. And during all of those appointments, it's getting to know, my story, how I'm feeling, all this information, and it's pretty as personal as you can get. I feel like,
Yeah.
especially towards
Yeah.
the end. But it's just a really intimate time to have. Shannon, by the end of it, feels like your best friend, and you want to come over and do puzzles with her. So I feel like it's personal the entire way through. It obviously starts at the beginning, and then you come into my home, which is my personal space,
Right.
and then you
Yeah.
get to see. We even have one of the prenatal appointments is in my home, so you kind of get to see everything. And then when you come over, you see my family. It's just a really intimate, personal experience that I don't really know that you get in any other medical procedure, really. Like if I, with any hospital birth, like you said, you don't really know who you're getting. Every
Right.
single time, it's like they don't know anything about me. They're reading a chart and kind of learning as they go type thing about who I am and how I handle things. But with Shannon, it's like a history there
Yeah.
too. That
Did it feel
Yeah.
invasive to you, Eric, as the father, to have someone come into your home with all that equipment and
No, not at all.
kind of take over?
No, it was kind of an added fun element because our families have known each other for so long. But
Right.
other than that, no, it felt very natural and comfortable.
What
for me.
about extended family? Was it uncomfortable trying to explain to them why you were choosing home birth?
Not really. Everybody was more just shocked than anything, but I didn't have to convince everybody about it, so that was good. But I have a cousin, his wife did a home birth, so she kind of did the initial maybe
Right.
scare conversation with everybody,
Right.
and then everybody else was like, oh, well, she did it, so that's probably fine. So, but our families, it all went really smooth. His mom, had a little bit of a harder time just because her sister is a NICU nurse.
Right, and she sees sick babies.
Yeah, so she sees the worst of the worst, and which she obviously wasn't going to hold me back from doing it. She came to one of my very first appointments and met you and got to ask any questions that might concern her,
Right.
and I feel like that relieved a lot of her
Good.
questions and concerns about that anyways. So she felt better about it, and obviously after she knew how well the first birth went, she was like, yeah, there's no real questions now. It's just kind of
So you guys
what we
would do this
so.
again?
Yeah.
Sure.
If there's another baby, we would for sure do this again. But
Absolutely.
it's the question of if there's another baby at this point.
Huh. Great. So, if there are people out there that are listening or watching and they're kind of on the fence about this, or they're intrigued but they don't know a whole lot about it, what would each of you say to somebody that's maybe considering having a midwife or an out of hospital birth?
100% do it. Like, no question in my mind.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really hard for me to like even consider something else at this point. Like after having done a home birth, like there's no question in my mind that I would ever want to do something different. So just do it.
What would you say,
Perfect.
Eric, about that to maybe dads that are having wives considering a home birth and they're like, I don't know.
There's an element of it where you're more in control of your family's birth that I think for a dad is probably a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just really like doing whatever she needs, and if she wants to make the call, I'm the kind of guy that's like, all right, let's do it. You're the one having the baby.
Yeah.
But just the element of like we had the power during the whole process in pregnancy, and we got to make decisions, and that was a
Did
pretty
you
big
feel
deal.
involved
Oh yeah,
at the birth?
yeah, yep.
I hear
Absolutely.
from dads a lot that with home birth as opposed to maybe a previous birth at the hospital, they just feel like they had a part in it. They weren't just a spectator.
Yeah,
Totally.
yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. We just wanted to go back to this because we talked a little bit about the home birth experience in general, but we want to hear a little bit more about Marin's birth story because I was there and I can attest to the fact that it was a gorgeous, beautiful birth. So tell us a little bit about her birth story and how it was from your perspective.
Yeah, so Marin was almost 2 weeks late, so she was hanging on in there. But I remember the day that she was born, it was December 17th, and I had an appointment with Shannon to be like, what are we going to do? Are we going to get this baby out of there? So I had my appointment, and Shannon, asked how things were going. I said, I had some contractions throughout the night, but nothing really that stayed steady or strong or anything. And she sent me home, and she was like, I think you're going to have a baby today. You're 6 centimeters dilated and ready to have this thing.
Wow.
Which I had no idea that I was obviously 6 centimeters dilated, but, and I was like, well, can I go to Costco first?
If you want.
So she was like, well, you're having this baby today, but if Costco's in the works, then do it fast. So I went to Costco, and on my way to Costco, contractions really started. And it was great. I checked out of Costco as quick as I could because I was in active labor in Costco, I feel like. And it's really fun because I
Only
have my
Devin.
receipt.
Yeah.
And my receipt, I checked out of Costco at 11:50 a.m. and she was born at 2:11 p.m. So
Wow.
2 hours and 20 minutes, something like that. So from there,
She's remembering it.
yeah. So from there, I hurried. In the Costco parking lot, I called Shannon and was like, "This baby's coming out. You better head over to the house." So I headed home, having contractions the whole way. Didn't know that I was going to ever make it. And when I got home, I just immediately laid in bed, and he set everything up, got the pool ready, and
Barely.
ready, barely in time. And shortly after you guys arrived. And then I said, I'm ready to push. I'm ready to go. And so
And she's laying in the pool like
She
she's
was.
hot tubbing.
yeah.
She's
she
just all
was.
relaxed.
So
and
you could
looking
barely
beautiful.
tell that she was even having
know.
contractions,
Yeah.
and she's just
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I'm pushing. And we're like, oh, maybe I should put some gloves on and get ready.
Yep, I'll never forget that. I'm just saying, I'm pushing now. I'm going to go ahead and start this. So, and then
So
she was
relaxed.
born
Yeah, it was
just after.
beautiful.
And I remember it was so peaceful, even from my side of things, by the Christmas tree. I'll never forget that. I thought that would be such a pretty scene.
And what did she weigh?
She was 9 pounds, 12 ounces.
A big girl.
Yeah, she was a chunk.
An
Yeah.
easy delivery with a big girl.
An easy delivery. Everything went great. You guys were both awesome, and you guys were both so encouraging the whole way. And
We were kind of going, what? Wait, it's over?
yeah,
Yeah.
You're done?
yeah. The cleanup took longer than
I was gonna say minus the water spill that we had to mop up on the floor.
yeah.
Pro tip: put a liner in the pool. That was my fault.
Yeah.
And then I took a knife to it to
Yep.
puncture the
Slasher.
ruined pool and went a little deep, and so it all started pouring out on the floor.
Yep.
She gets a little
all-
overexcited about her slashing.
It's all part of the fun.
It's just easier to put in the dumpster if it's slashed and has no air in whatever.
Yeah.
That's another
Whatever.
podcast.
Yeah.
That is a whole
Oh
other
goodness.
But the labor went awesome, and everything went so smooth, and obviously was very fast, and I loved it.
It was
loved
perfect.
every minute.
Yeah, it was
Just
beautiful.
perfect.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It was a great time.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, that wraps up this episode with the North family birth story. We want to say special thanks to Eric and Devin for allowing us to go behind the scenes, as well as Shannon and Angie show us their trip out to the North's house. We hope you'll check out this version of More About Birth, episode 9, the North story on YouTube, our More About Birth channel. Thank you for tuning in to More About Birth. We hope you'll continue to join us here. We'll see you next time. Cool.
That was dumb.
What?
And you don't want to miss.
You don't want to miss.
Cut that
Okay.
out.
Are we good?
We're good.
We're giving me like hours of editing on this podcast.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you're sorry. This podcast is intended for educational purposes only. Please check out Natural Care Midwifery, our podcast page, for our full disclaimer.